Real is without a doubt one of the fastest growing real estate brokerages in North America. But depending on who you ask, it's either the future of the industry or some crazy pyramid scheme. So if you're a real estate agent out there trying to figure out if Real is actually worth it, there is a lot of noise. So in this video, I just want to give you the facts on how Real actually works as a brokerage. We are going to be looking at the Canadian presentation deck, but I will include how this applies to US agents as well, what it actually costs to be a Real agent, and maybe address some of the misconceptions out there to decide if it is right for you, because I had a lot of skepticism coming into this brokerage, but now that I'm actually in it, what I may be perceived as being kind of culty and recruity has definitely gone right out the window. So first things first, if you've never heard of Real, Real is a cloud-based real estate brokerage. We don't have any physical offices. The company operates primarily online. We do have in-person events, and agents collaborate predominantly through digital platforms. Instead of having local brick and mortar everywhere, we've dramatically reduced cost by not having that, because I was at a brick and mortar location and I can count on one hand how many times clients have actually come into the office over the last 7 years. Real is also a publicly traded company listed as REAX on the NASDAQ. But let's jump into the actual numbers of what it would cost you if you were going to join Real. Now, there's over 30,000 agents. I believe we're somewhere around 33,000 agents at the time of this recording across North America. Again, this presentation deck does come directly from Real. There is a lot of promise in here, but I want to give you the actual facts. So here in Canada, you pay $250 to sign up for the brokerage. Once you pay that, there is no monthly fee. So, a lot of other brokerages out there will have a monthly desk fee. There is none of that at Real. Where there is a bit of a difference is on every single transaction, you will have a $40, they call a CBR fee. It's a compliance and broker review. But what this allows for is each and every document you upload to Real is reviewed by a broker for compliance. This will tighten your paperwork up more than you could ever imagine. And if ever you get into a situation where you need clean paperwork, you will most definitely have it. Now, there is also an annual brokerage risk management fee. It is a total of $1,200, and it is paid out from your first 3 transactions every single year. So let's say you're doing 10 transactions a year. On the first 3, you're going to have your split, which is $85.15, and then an extra $400 will come off of that transaction for this risk management fee. Now, beyond that, you are on an $85.15 split until Real has received $15,000 in commission from you, basically meaning you've hit $100,000 in gross commission. After you've hit that threshold, there is no more split. You pay $375 per transaction, and you keep the remainder of the commission. This is where things get interesting for some people, because at a traditional brokerage, you're going to have a split in perpetuity, whereas here, if you're producing more than $100,000 a year in commission, you are going to be keeping a lot more commission once you hit that $100,000 mark. Now, these caps are lower for US agents. US, I believe it's a $12,000 cap. Your fee to join as well as in US dollars, and therefore lower. And I believe your per transaction fee after you hit your cap is also lower, again, because it's in US dollar. Now, Real also does this thing where they allow you to purchase stock because, as I mentioned, Real is publicly traded. It is traded on the NASDAQ, REAX. You can check it out. It's not doing super well right now, but I mean, that's a good time to get stock because when it bounces back, hopefully your whole book goes up. But before you cap, so before you hit either your $12,000 or $15,000 in commission split with Real, you can take 5% of your commission out as stock, and Real will pay you a 10% bonus on that stock. So let's say you take $500 out of stock, Real's gifting you an extra $50 worth of stock. Once you hit your cap, you can then take out 10% of your commission as stock. So let's say you take out $1,000 as stock. Real's then just going to gift you $150 worth of stock on that transaction. It might not seem like a lot of money initially, but if we look at this over a year, in let's say a year where you've made $150,000 in commission, you've taken out 5 $10,000 worth of stock. And on that, you've received $1,250 worth of stock because that's a pretty nice added bonus to get from your company. Now, I will say as a caveat here, there is a vesting period for some of these stocks that they gift you. But if you're with Real for the long term, it's really a minor issue. If you plan to come to Real for a year, get a whole bunch of stock and then leave, yeah, you're going to leave a lot of that behind because it hasn't quite vested yet. Now, depending on what cap level you're at, so let's say you're a solo agent, you have a $15,000 cap. If you hit your cap, Real's just going to gift you 150 shares. Not only that, if you attract another agent to Real, notice I didn't say recruiting because recruiting is frowned upon. They're going to gift you also 75 shares worth of stock. Now, I want to highlight here, the main way to still make money in this industry is to help people buy and sell houses. But to get an added bonus from your company for doing the things you're already doing well is really nice. One of the last things I want to touch on is the revenue share. Real doesn't do any outbound advertising to try and get agents to join the brokerage. Instead, what they do is they allow agents to refer other agents to the brokerage. And then in return for supporting those agents transition to Real, the agents who brought those other agents in can receive a portion of the commission that's paid to Real from that agent. So Real does not pay anyone to come to Real. Real does not have different commission splits for different people because they're selling a buttload of real estate. Everyone is on that 85-15 split. Now, from that 15% that's paid to Real, a large portion of that will go into what's called revenue share. So let's say, for instance, I bring an agent to Real and they hit that cap in their first year. In Canada, I can make up to $4,000 of that $15,000 split that they've paid to Real just for transitioning that agent over to Real Broker. Now, let's say I've brought in 4 people and those people have then brought in some people as well. And this is where I know it sounds like a pyramid scheme, but you can earn money the larger that network gets, all the way up to 5 tiers down. Now, you can't just join Real, recruit a bunch of people, and then never sell anything again because you do have to meet sales requirements throughout the year to continue to earn rev share. And I was really grossed out by this at first, I'll be perfectly honest. But when I was at a national real estate brand brokerage, if people asked me what brokerage they should join, I would normally say the brokerage that I was at. That hasn't changed. When people ask me what brokerage they should join, most of the time, my default answer is, hey, now you should come join Real. That being said, I know Real isn't for everybody, and there's actually people that I would suggest Real isn't for them. But what got me past this tiered revenue share system is that Real puts an emphasis on no aggressive recruiting techniques. You're not going to trade shows with the intention of trying to, steal agents from other brokerages. You're not cold calling agents to say, hey, come join Real. The policy this video included is I'm going to put information out there about what Real is, what I like, what I don't like about it. If people want to talk about it, then I'm happy to help. The last section I want to touch on is the technology at Real. Now, the technology is something I've been craving for a very, very long time, and Real has hit the mark in many, many instances, although there's still a few areas where the promise is there. It's just not all the way there yet. One of the common things you hear about Real is, oh, it's not profitable, but profitability is a choice. And Real makes a conscious decision every year to invest more and more money into tech, more and more money back into the agents that are helping grow this company in order to have ownership and control over the tools that we use every single day. Not only that, but it's been refreshing how truly collaborative of an environment Real is. I feel like I can reach out to basically any person in this company and they will make the time of day to help me with any problems, issues, or ideas I might have. Here some pros and cons. Pros, we've got a high commission split, lower overhead, rev share opportunities, and a collaborative culture. Cons, and this might be enough to turn some people away, is there's no traditional office environment. You are required to be self-motivated. There are many opportunities to get involved, but you really have to be the one going out there and doing it. And there's a lot of misunderstandings around the revenue share. So before you actually join, if that's something that's important to you, make sure you talk to somebody to give you a very clear picture on how that works. So hopefully this video gave you a clearer understanding of how Real works. If you're considering a change or just want to learn more about the brokerage, there's a link below where you can book a call with me, and I'm happy to walk you through my experience. And I explored pretty much every single option for brokerage out there that there was before I made my move. So I like to think I have a little bit of insight on this topic. But at the end of the day, if you book this call, it's about you, your goals, and whether or not it's a fit for you. My name is Ben Robitaille. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.